My sickness is people pleasing. I grew up as a good girl. I never personally admitted to being good. The adults in my life had a funny way of reinforcing my goodness by proclaiming that I was good for being quiet, studious, giving, passive, calm, always so calm. Child rehab threw tantrums the first time she went to school, had terrible grades, and was deemed wrong, bad, unworthy of a parent's love. She became perfect when she stopped screaming at the school's front gates, getting top grades, and appeasing her parents' ego. I became good because all I ever wanted was to feel accepted, loved. As my body morphed its way through adulthood, good girl was my identity. I answered yes to other people's desires and demands. I smiled as some people mocked me. I acted shy, and I often had little to say. I had opinions, of course, but good girls kept their thoughts to themselves, unless they upset the fragile ground they stood on. They should be quiet. Well, if they aren't, they get punished, they get silenced. I was at the start of my 20s, high functioning in academia, the apple of my parents' eyes, struggling with social interactions, and completely miserable. I don't admit it often and loud enough, but at that time, I hated myself with a passion. I knew that my masquerade of inherent goodness was bound to crumble down. I felt it tittering the longer I toyed with the idea of throwing myself into a moving train. I say masquerade because I have always felt like I was playing a role in someone's theatrical piece. My actions were either a direct response or a counter-reaction to someone else's desires, and my sense of self came from answering others and gaining their appreciation by pleasing their whims. It's okay to want to make your parents proud, to show kindness and respect, to be cooperative and understanding, but there comes a point when these attributes veered on the other end of the spectrum. It wasn't okay for me anymore. I wasn't sincere in my actions. I wasn't honorable enough. What if people saw that sometimes I didn't care? Sometimes I hated laughing at their stupid, devalorizing comments? That sometimes I wanted to laugh too at their own tiny fickle narcissism and call them stupid to their face? That sometimes I get angry over a stuck lock or a stubbed toe or printing the wrong document and having to do it again? But no, I felt the need to keep quiet, to keep everything under wraps. God forbid they know. Who are they that I'm talking about? I have half a mind to say everyone, except them may seem a bit on the paranoid side. The best way to describe them is in Lacanian terms. The big other with a capital O, omniscient and all-knowing. I didn't know who they were, but I felt the oppressive weight of their gaze over every little action I made. I had to think about how I spoke and how I acted, and on occasions when I didn't know how to behave in response to others' expectations, I completely froze. My brain would go through a massive system crash. Now that I think back on it, I may have had a bit of a paranoid phase. I used to be scared of people, living, breathing human beings who would offer me a friendly smile, and my mind would swim over countless possibilities, over what that smile meant and what is expected of me. I couldn't fathom the notion that not everyone wanted something from me, and that I need not answer them. I kept my distance because what if they hurt me, if they weren't pleased with me? Pleasing others started displeasing me. I became a good girl because my parents wanted a good daughter. I had to be a good sister, a good model. I chose to be good because I have gotten praise and my ego loved it. I chose to be good and nice because it meant I was easily accepted. I was pleasant to others because I was subservient. I was a woman, and we know how women throughout history or praise for their servitude. However, the longer I played this role of good girl, the farthest I felt from something that was inherently me. I was fake. I stared at the mirror and it didn't have any answers for me. I saw my skin, my functioning body, and that was it. I was a body that dressed in socially conforming, comfortably crafted costumes, spent the day with a smile, and cried themselves to sleep. I started therapy 11 months ago. It was because I had difficulties when it came to social interactions. That's what I remember saying verbatim in my first session. Now I'm aware that was my symptom, fumbling around, stuttering my way through a conversation, because what if I say the wrong thing at the wrong time? What if I leave the wrong impression? What if? I'll be lost in the what ifs till the person leaves me. That was my symptom. My pain, however, came from a different source. I was trying so hard to maintain an image that was slowly chipping away at my sanity. I was 23 and I still wanted to be my parents' good daughter, the good girl they raised me to be. At the heart of me, I wasn't a child anymore. I was a person who didn't want to be defined by their goodness or even their badness. I wanted to know me bare of artifice and pretense, and I wanted to be free. Free to be a failure, free to be wild, free to be reckless, free to make mistakes over and over again and to learn from them, free to rely on myself, free to just be. And you know, society makes it hard to exist as we are. We are socialized to conform, to outperform. We are peacocks day in, day out, painting a fantasy to withstand the utter absurdity of reality. I'm confiding this to you because I have been encouraged to create a safe space where I speak the little truths I've silenced for so long. I am lost in life now that I have bid farewell to an identity marker that defined me for so long. But I'm figuring things out, bit by bit, peeling the layers one day at a time. Maybe you will understand, maybe you will not. In either case, you're welcomed in this little corner of the internet, where I'll hopefully take you with me on a journey of rediscovery.